Hello everyone, we're going to be doing some homestone farming today. As usual, we're going to be doing some homestone farming today. Oh god, why am I hearing that? That was a weird backup there. Looks like I fixed it. Sorry about that. This is why I do a bit of prep at the start of the stream to fix little issues like that. At least I know my voice is coming through. Okay. Looks like we're good. Let's see how long it takes us to actually get into a dungeon. Because, I don't actually normally play guest classes, but I wanted to try leveling Black Mage today. Oop, that's why I just did a leveling dungeon. All Darkhold. I have heard these can be quite unpleasant. Getting into my leveling wasn't too bad. It took about 7 minutes. As a tank, it usually takes 3 or 2. Yeah. Hopefully other people will be farming this one with stones. I'm only level 47, which is why I'm doing it right now. I don't actually know how I should pass the time while I wait for the dungeons. It will take a little bit. Kind of funny, I just had a dungeon. Actually gonna ban this level because I'm paranoid. But what did I just do? Why is this so hard to click on my gosh darn thing? Just click on the freaking avatar. Hopefully that should be fine. I just had a dungeon where my healer and tank were new, so they were struggling a good bit. Miss Bubbles is being weird right now, my cat. But yeah, so the tank died, and we got turned on, and I thought we were going to wipe. And I remembered there's one ultimate black mage spell that has no equal. Again, it has a lot of equals across all the magic classes, but let's say it has no equal. It is do. and then we just waited for the tank to get back while they were asleep. It was great. It's always fun finding new ways to fuck around with stuff in this game. My cat. Sweetest creature, she is attacking my arm right now. This is her. She does not like when she's not getting attention for more than 2 minutes. Oh, my chocobo despawned. That's okay. I got a car. That's cool. Guess we're just gonna go for a little drive while we wait. I know these are in my hunting log, but like, how adorable these are. Who would hurt these? Who would hurt these precious little creatures? They're like little moth sheep. So cute. How I first person in this game? Not how I first person in this game. Just Google that. I got time. I'm waiting for the dungeon. Press the home button. Your keyboard. My keyboard does not have a home button. What the hell is a home button? Does it mean the Windows button? No, I just brought up my fucking Windows menu. Home button. Okay, it's time to read every on my keyboard. Would you look at that? There is a home button. I never even knew that. I am so not computer savvy. So I'm kind of sad. I thought I would be, you know, looking out the windshield and actually be able to see the front of my car. We'll just drive like this then. Alright, we're doing one of those super irresponsible driving streams people do. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stream and be distracted the whole time I drive. I've noticed that, because I suck at streaming, right? So I've been watching a few others, and I noticed that they somehow always have something to talk about. So I just have to keep talking and never shut up no matter what. Anything that comes to my mind. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled peppers. So you just gotta never stop talking, and apparently that is how streaming works. Just keep going, and if you repeat the same thing over and over again, I've noticed that is very common. You just gotta keep going. That's just how it works. And then, oh, I stopped talking for a second there. I have entirely failed this stream. This is going to make me lose my voice very fast, because I am not used to talking a lot at all. Fucking Final Fantasy is fun. We'll just recount my entire Final Fantasy adventure from the beginning in excruciating detail, and that way I will have never stopped talking, and I have succeeded at being a streamer. So you see, it all began in not Ul'dah, oddly enough, as much as you'd think since I'm a paladin main, but I live streamed my first impression of the game. In fact, looks like everyone's waiting here for the event fate. Did I actually end up in that area already? I did. Yeah, so there's going to be an event fate here that helps people continue with the questline for Noctis. Anyway, my journey started in Limsa, because I wanted to be a paladin, but I didn't know I had to be a gladiator to be a paladin. I was like, of all the classes available, the one swinging around a big axe looks fun. So that's the class I chose when I started, and I did about 2 to 3 hour stream that day, because I never really streamed for longer than that. And the whole time I was streaming, I was like, alright, but when do I unlock paladin? Like, I never stopped saying that. I was so confused. I was like, I just want to be a paladin. How come that's not a starting class? Why don't I start with any of the classes unlocked? And then after that stream, I googled how to be a fucking paladin, and it said I had to be a gladiator. And if I wanted to do that, I had to get level 16, so I would unlock Ul'dah, or alternatively, I could make a new character and have it start as a gladiator. And I was like, I'm not grinding all the fucking way to level 16. So I made a new character, which is this character, meaning it is technically my second, and it started as a gladiator, and that is when my journey started in Ul'dah. And then, so I went out and was told to find the Sultana. I was like, bitch, don't tell me what to do! All these squares make a circle. Now, thank God there's actually something to do so I can stop rambling about literally nothing. Okay, Zamuldark, let's go. This was actually my favorite dungeon in all of A Realm Reborn, because I was really excited when I got to a snowy area, and I was like, I just want to do a snowy dungeon, let's go. So I unlocked this as soon as I could, and I actually grinded levels to 44 just so I could get the quest to do it. Fuck yeah. Oh, I should wave. And yeah. I was very confused my first time through here because no one explained the boss mechanic to me, and I was a tank, so I definitely should have had the boss mechanic explained to me. So I was just trying to kill the eyeball where it was. And I actually started off in the light, so it was going fine. It was taking damage. And I was wrong there, but then the light faded, and I didn't know I was supposed to move. And my healer, instead of being like, hey, you gotta move to the light, because that would make it so it can take damage again, they just stopped healing me and let me die so that they could pull it right. And I was like, well, that was a huge dick move. It was just like a prick thing to do. And that was like my first experience with real players, because up until then I had been only doing the story quests, which were able to be done with NPCs, and I was like, well, if I do it with NPCs, it'll go faster because I don't have to wait for real players to join. They came from Mabinogi, right, which is a 1-year-old extremely dead game. They used to have a bunch of servers, which they then merged into 2 different servers because the game was so dead. And then from there they had to merge those 2 into 1 single server because it was still dead. Now if you log on, it's just a bunch of AFK people who have been playing for 20 years and have too much time and far too much money invested into the game to give up on it, and no one really plays it anymore, which makes sense. The whole game is just a massive cash grab. Like, everything about it is such scummy marketing practice. Like, the game is super pay to win, and it's weird because a lot of people will like argue against that. They'll be like, no, it's not pay to win. You can get reforges in game, and it's like, yeah, you can get the shitty reforges that aren't nearly as strong as the store-bought ones. And those are 90% of your fucking weapon's power is reforging it. It's random chance, and you're gonna need hundreds upon hundreds if you want a good reforge. So you can get the shitty ones in game that have even shittier chances and stuff than the cash shop ones. And they actually only like fairly recently added somewhat decent ones that can actually get you to rank 1 in game. They're locked away in a high level area. But yeah, so for most of the game's lifetime, the only way to get any good ones was from the cash shop, or from other players who bought them in the cash shop and then sold them to you at exorbitantly high prices. The game was always just super pay to win. Most strategies in dungeons involved summoning your pets. A lot of pets had different abilities, like they could lower the defense of your enemies. Very required in some dungeons, a lot of higher level dungeons. And of course, pets were all extremely expensive in the cash shop, $20 to like $50 for them if you wanted the good ones. Then there were like wounds on top of health, and normal health potions can heal your wounds, so you'd need a pet that could heal wounds if you wanted it to be efficient, or you could craft yourself a fuck ton of wound potions, and then you'd have to drink like 50 of them to get back to full health. And then you'd get potion poisoning from drinking too many potions, which would then, yeah. So basically they're like, everything in this game cost money. You wanted it to work. Well, I'm talking about Mabinogi still, not this game. Final Fantasy XIV is actually pretty great. The cash shop is pretty much all cosmetics. I can appreciate. But yeah, and then still Mabinogi players would be like, it's not pay to win. And it's like, no, you've just no-lifed this game for the last 15 to 20 years of your life. And you're too stuck on it to admit that it has a lot of fucking flaws. Just trying to explain the mechanic right there. Yeah, I've noticed that a lot because so I've been playing MMOs my whole life, and you get to know the general crowd of people who play MMOs, and most of them come from not great lives growing up, right? They had abusive parents or something of that matter, so they took to MMOs to escape. You know, that makes sense. It's a fun fantasy world. You can be whoever you want. You can be strong in this world. It reminds me of the Sword Art Online. Shut up, here I have power. Yeah, so a lot of people had not great lives who played MMOs, and Mabinogi especially, because it was advertised as your fantasy life. So most people, their life became the MMO that they played. So it's really hard to tell people that there's anything wrong with their favorite MMO, because it's their life, it's everything to them. It's all that matters to them. It's over to the light. So it's always frustrating. It's like, you gotta be willing to accept that you can love a game, and it can have flaws, right? Trying to tell this guy. To the souls. That's okay. I explained in chat what needed to be done, and I wasn't just a dickhead who was like, alright, I'll wait for him to die and then pull it myself. Which is how this dungeon should be done. Being polite to new players. But yeah, so it's always been a frustrating experience when it's like, you know, my new favorite MMO by far is Final Fantasy XIV here. I love it a lot. It has a million great qualities to it, especially the community. Best community I've ever seen in an MMO. Which, before I played this game, I thought MMO communities were just shitty. And I thought they always would be. So I was very flabbergasted to see that the people were actually quite nice in this game. It still has a ton of flaws to it, and I still meet a lot of people in it where I try to tell them, like, hey, you know, this part frustrated me, it seemed really poorly designed, not very well thought out. They're like, no, you're wrong, it's stupid, no, that couldn't be possible, it's a perfect game, flawless MMO, and it's like, dude, just, like, I know you love this game, I love it too, but it's very sad if something has to be perfect for you to enjoy it. Like, why can't you accept something including its flaws? That's one thing that's always kind of frustrated me about the MMO crowd. God, that took so long that the crystal refit. I've never had the crystal bounce around this many times. Honestly, most of the time we kill it on the second one. Just gonna try to kill the eye and ignore the mobs around it, because just gotta pull it into the thing. was gonna say because it would be faster that way, but not if he isn't pulling it into the light. There we go, thank you. Yeah, that's one thing I've always found. And I guess most game communities are like that too. Like, I have been a huge Dark Souls fan for a very long time. I started with Dark Souls 1, I didn't start with Demon Souls, but I moved to Demon Souls right after Dark Souls 1. And then when Dark Souls 2 came out, I got it on release day, right? And I love the Dark Souls series. It is by far, I'm just second favorite series in the whole world next to Zelda. But I can go back to Dark Souls 1 and say a lot of stuff in this game, as much as I love it and still enjoy it. Shit. Like, it's a lot more like clunky and rigid feeling than the later entries in the series. There's a lot of glitches in it, like far too many that still exist. Like, I was walking from Undead Parish to the blacksmith, and I just clipped through the bridge. Solid ground bridge, I clipped through it and fell to my death. And I was like, what the hell? But people still to this day defend that game to their life. You know, it's an amazing game, it's a masterpiece, it's perfect. And it's like, it is an amazing game, and I love it, but I'm allowed to say that there are things wrong with it. It kind of makes me sad. I want to be able to have discussions with people about the games I like, but they're not willing to have a discussion that isn't just the echo chamber of this game good. This game good. Oh, man. I have been trying my hardest to be non-stop talking, and I have no idea how people do it. I have rambled about the same topic for so long, and like, I don't even give that much of a fuck about this topic. I've just been going on and on about it because I don't know what else to talk about. If I'm being entirely honest. But I should definitely change topic. I have talked about that one for way too long, and I was going to seem like I'm very obsessed when I'm really just looking for anything to talk about. So, weather's been nice lately. That's a lie, it's been really gray and foggy and snowy lately. But I don't actually mind snow, I love it sometimes. But this time of year, when we're already going into March, say February, and I think it's just because it's a leap year this year, right? I do kind of be like, hey, can I have springtime back, please? Wanna, you know, take the dog for a walk and play some Pokemon Go. I can't exactly do those things when it's minus 30 outside. Or dogs, or I guess my brother's dog, sorry. He gets mad when I say my dog. Yes, I love the dog. She is a great dog. You know, we can't take her out when it's minus 30 because it's freezing and she's gonna freeze her little pawsies. We've considered getting her like little boots, but when it's minus 30, I don't even know if that'll help, so we generally can't take her out much. At least not for long periods, right? We can't go for extended walks like we'd enjoy. So we would just have to like throw the ball for her in the yard and then bring her in pretty quickly if we wanted to get her exercise, because otherwise it's just way too cold. I'm pretty done with winter, right? Ready for it to come around. Also, talking has made me entirely incapable of focusing on the game, so my rotation has been absolute garbage. I'm so sorry, my team. What else can I talk about? This is so hard, right? Because, like, I'm a tiny streamer who only gets 2 to 3 views per stream, so I don't have, like, a group I can be talking to while I stream, and, I don't mind that, because I'm fine with just gaming in peace and not having to interact with that, but it also makes my streams really boring, because I don't know what to talk about ever. Except my cat, which is currently not I like. Her name is Bubbles, and she is very sweet. Todd is also here, but he is asleep on the... He is not disrupting me at the moment. First impression of the community, as I was saying, I was surprised there were so many nice people, but it was actually quite mixed at some points, because I noticed like a lot of other sprouts were coming from other games where the communities aren't very nice, so they themselves could be quite unkind at times. But then as soon as you like get through a Realm Reborn and you're beyond that, that's where it like filters out most of the new players that are deciding if the game is for them or not. So once you're past the Realm Reborn, it's pretty much the people who more or less belong in the game who are sticking around to that point, and that's when the community starts getting really great and super nice. One thing I would recommend to anyone starting the game is to join a free company as soon as you can. There's a content lull right now, as people are calling it, while people are waiting for Dawn Trail to come out. So the new or the old players are pretty bored right now. So as soon as a new player appears, they're like super happy to help you with everything, go on your adventure with you, like hang out and chat. It has a really strong sense of community thanks to that. All the players just really want to help new players right now because they have nothing else to do, so you can get all the help you need. Company, this game's version of guilds, and it just make your experience so much better. I have made like nicest, most wonderful friends I've ever had in my life. I made them when I started this game, just because my free company was full of such awesome people. I am entirely out of things to talk about again. My brain does not work fast enough for this. So normally what I do here, right, I aggro those guys with a shield throw because I'm normally the tank. Oh god. So that I can pull them down and away from the explodey crystal so no one has to get hurt. But this seems to be the tank's first time in this dungeon. So, a little more patient than usual. You remember when I was a sprout? You can see my sprout is gone. I was very sad when I lost it, actually. I was like, I want my sprout back. But, when I was a sprout, I really hated rushed sometimes. Some of the older players, like, really helpful and friendly, but they were also used to high-end content where everyone is very knowledgeable of their class. They know exactly what they're doing. They can rip through dungeons no problem, just knowing perfectly how their class works. So when you're a sprout, a lot of them kind of forget that you're still learning what all of your combos do, what all your buttons do. You just kind of need to politely remind them, like, hey, I'm still learning this class, I would appreciate a little patience, and 9 out of 10 times, honestly like 9.9 out of 10 times, they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, no, I totally understand, I forgot about that, and you're like, yeah, no worries, and then it's like, all chill. Yeah. Sometimes people will be rushing you and it can get frustrating, especially if you're like me and not socially great, so you're not very good at speaking up and expressing what you need. But the community is generally really nice, especially all the high-level players. The Circus Survive here person, it looks like they actually have a mentor thing. So, sure, like you'll see here, they're waiting for the cutscenes, right? So they're polite, they understand the kind of etiquette of the game. They're not gonna be a dickhead to people, generally, I've noticed. The only time people are gonna force you to skip cutscenes is in Alliance raids, I've noticed. Because Alliance raids are huge 24-person raids, they take forever to get through, and just no one has the patience for it, so unfortunately, most of my Alliance raids people have skip the cutscenes by running into the boss fights ahead of time, and then you get the 15-second warning. But it's like, the boss room will be closed off in 15 seconds and you won't have access. And it's like, okay, now I have to skip this cutscene because it's going to be longer than 15 seconds. In normal content like this, and even like extreme trials and stuff, people are usually more than happy to let you just watch the cutscene. I am a little, this is gonna get me fucking crucified by the community for saying this, but, story is good, right? And no one's gonna disagree with that. People really love the story in this game, that's like the whole game to them, but it's not amazing. Like, Blade and Soul definitely had a way better story than this, and that was a free-to-play game. Most players will die on the hill that this is the best story to have ever been told ever by anyone, and God himself came down and blessed the writer's pen when they were making it. But it's a good story, but it's not super amazing. But all the older players will say it's the most amazing story in the world, so they generally really want you to enjoy it. So that's why people are pretty chill about cutscene watching. Why is my Fire 3 not rocking? I don't know how to proc that. Still new to Black Mage, unfortunately. But no. How dare you make a mage move slightly? That's an unforgivable crime. But yeah, so on one hand it can get kind of annoying with how diehard people are for the story, and like they try to force you to enjoy it, which is kind of weird. But on the other hand, it's really nice because it does mean people are a lot more patient and they want you to take your time to enjoy it at least. So your story, at least, you're not gonna be rushed. It's just battles that get rushed where they're like, all right, do this, do that, and do that, and you're like, dude, just chill. I don't have the mental capacity to memorize all these buttons right off the bat. I was talking and not paying any attention. GG team. I'll give that to White Mate. Oh. How does this paladin? I've been so used to getting warriors all day today. And I forgot to eat food. This isn't just tomestones, which we are doing this to farm these tomestones. We get 3 for each completion. Mostly wanted to my Black Mage, honestly. Need to check on something too. That's all looking good. Okay, oh yeah, I forgot I got new gear. And my character is supposed to be modeled after Mario. Because, you know, Mario throws fireballs, so I thought it would be a funny glam for a Black Mage. Oh, I don't have one of those yet. Oh. Ew. And no, I don't have any accessories yet. I'm just trying to get to 50, and then I'm going to buy everything with tomestones anyway. So I figured I wouldn't waste my time getting that stuff. Not apply. Okay. But I can apply glamour plates right in there. Let's get my Mario outfit back on. It's actually the second Final Fantasy game I ever played. Tales series, you know, Tales of Naya, Tales of Graces, Tales of Xillia, that kind of stuff, growing up. And I kind of thought it was just the same stuff as Final Fantasy, so I was like, you know, I don't know how I'd need to play both. I didn't get into Final Fantasy until I played 15, and I really loved it. I didn't actually play another one for a while because I'm always broke, and I can't just go around buying fucking 500 Final Fantasies. And then 14 came out. 14 was out before 15, obviously, but 14 was gaining popularity among my friend group. So I decided to give it a try. loved it, and since then I've been kind of slowly accumulating more Final Fantasy games I want to try, and I'm gonna be first timing a lot of them on stream actually, which will be fun. I came here for my glam. And now we can go here. That not updated. I need to do that first. This is supposed to be like the Mario jump, you know? It's funny. Anyway. That is being very suspicious right now. What is she looking for? Sorry, I'll queue us up for the dungeon while I'm doing this. I'm gonna go figure out what my cat's doing. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, sorry about that. She wanted to go play out in the hallway. I just let her out of my room. Keep my door closed when I'm streaming just for privacy and, you know? Kinda cute actually, so I think Bubbles has been getting a little sick of her food. She's been eating the same stuff for 14 years now. So today, there was an old rotisserie chicken fridge, pretty much stripped down to the bone. On the verge of going bad. So I ripped off what little chunks I could, just peeling them from the bone there. And I mixed it in with her food in her bowl. Handed a piece to her, just without her cat food, and she ate it right up, and she's like, oh my god, that's so good. And then I put her up by her bowl, and she went ham and ate all her food, so I was pretty happy about that. I'm gonna adjust this a little. Oop. Little more. Chit-chatting about stuff. My guild is full of very nice people. A lot of people are pretty close friends, so they'll, you know, chit-chat about their day and their personal life in there, and I just don't think it's appropriate to share those conversations on stream, which is why I always cover up the text box there. So, now we're just waiting. Back into the same dungeon. This is gonna be the slowest tome farming ever. But, to get to level 50. And 2 more runs should do that for me if I remember to. Problem is on DPS it just takes so long to get into dungeons, so I never know when is the optimal time to eat my food, because for some really stupid reason, the time you would want to eat your food when you get the registration and it's counting down for you to join, you cannot eat during that time. I was like, why? That is the best time to eat your food. Yeah. Anyone who doesn't know, this gives you a 3% experience gain bonus. There's also, I'm too high level to use it now, Friendship Circlet, which I got because my got me into this game. Sent me the code, which rules for joining together. That gives me an experience bonus to level 25, and then the special edition of Endwalker or whatever. I was just taught this by my guild leader last night, actually. That will give you an experience bonus like 30%, something huge like that, all the way up to level 80. Fortunately, I'm far too broke. Waste money. Yeah, if you're looking for faster ways to level, food, friendship circlet, and for the end special edition. So help you. Trying to get my black mage to level 70 right now, so I can get them relic weapon, because I like the way they look. Look cool. Sorry, my brain is so slow. I'm still trying to think of topics on the fly. I don't, you know, those people who like stream for 8 hours a day. I want to be able to do that. I want streaming to be like my full. But I have no idea how they find stuff to talk about for that long. Like, I can go maybe 15 minutes of constant rambling before I do another. Well, I'm trying to think of what to talk about next, and it is quite challenging for me. I'm just gonna ramble about literally anything to pass the time while I wait for a dungeon. So, what's everyone's favorite game console? It's GameCube. I'm an old soul. I played so much Metal Armor. The story was great and funny. I was a little kid at the time, so the fact that there was a character constantly swearing made me laugh so much. Multiplayer was really fun. The PvP was great. Obviously, it wasn't online. Earlier, friends would come over and we'd get our GameCube controllers out. Just play Metal Arms for hours and hours and hours. And it was a really great experience, and I loved that. And with Metal Arms, we switched to Naruto Clash of... I actually have Metal Arms, Clash of Ninja 1, and Clash of Ninja 2 for my GameCube, currently beside me, just on my desk there with the rest of my GameCube. Those, we would just play so much. So great. You just get some pizza, you get some soda, you invite your friends over for a sleepover, and you play the fuck out of some GameCube. That was like the greatest time of my childhood. Playing Metal Arms and Naruto. Also would waste so much time. I'm sure everyone in the world did this, but we would waste so much time going on to Wind Waker, and we would take turns on Outset Island, the starting island, just running away from the booger kid. The big snot bubble hanging from his nose. And yeah, we loved that. We'd be like, no, don't touch my little boogers, go away. God, we could just seriously just spend hours doing that, laughing and chatting and having a good time. I miss days like that. Sad because, like, a lot of my guildmates have also expressed that they want to do stuff like that as well. But everyone has, you know, jobs and stuff to do during the day that keeps them from wasting 8 straight hours playing a video game, as, you know, adult in the world except me does. Played a broke loser. So it's just so hard to schedule everyone in to find fun stuff to do. Just waste that time to kind of recapture that nostalgia. Oh, I almost forgot to eat again. No, I'm not going to waste my eggplants on this. Oop, I'm just going to cancel my cast. I am not good at managing cast times yet. I'm so used to being a paladin. It is my main and very favorite class. So switching to Black Mage is so jarring. Getting used to the cast times and everything. It's like Dark Knight here. So means they're at least at Heaven's Ward, so they should really... they're trying to activate the Mad Detector. personally, I would usually try to kill the stuff in the light so my team is taking heavy damage from the eyeball thing the whole time. And I would go back to the terminal. Actually, I think this one can be skipped even. Like, I've skipped it. I don't think it makes a difference. Now he's doing it. Okay, so if you're gonna go back to do it after the fight anyway, why did we not kill this stuff in the light? That's okay though. Yeah, he doesn't have a sprout. Huh. And why didn't we kill the stuff in the light? Dude, tactics confuse and frighten me, sir. God, I love having so much range. Pow, take that. Wacha. Die, fiend. That's why I kill the mobs in the light first, and then you go to the terminals. Don't worry, I can live this. I got. Dude, as long as my team doesn't wake them up, I can. I should have been standing on that the whole time, but I was at the edge because I didn't quite. I should have stood in the gosh darn light. It's okay. I'm confused. So I can mostly. So I can entirely understand the not knowing the dungeon. See, maybe it's his first time. It is an optional dungeon. There's a chance he came back to do it. I did it. No, he knows to bring it to the light. But when I was doing Dark Knight for the first time, because I had just gone to heaven, I actually hadn't done most of the Realm Reborn dungeons myself, not the side ones anyway. And I was leveling my Dark Knight by doing all the dungeons. So a lot of the optional ones I was doing for the first time, even as a Dark Knight. So I suppose I should be more understanding about that. Can you do this with ice activated? I did not know that. This is going a lot better than our last run though, because our tank is doing a good job. You know, he knows what to do. He understands it. That's good. And the Soul Seeing Eyes take a lot of damage at the first crystal. What did it switch off of him? Yeah, look at that. He moved right over before I even did. I am very much struggling to focus on the game while streaming. That's okay. I just gotta keep doing it. Gotta keep practicing my streaming and get better at it. Like everything else in this world, you're not gonna start off great at. Just gotta work your way. Gotta work on talking more, not running out of topics constantly, on focusing on the game while I stream. I have so much work to do. It'll work out if I just keep working. If not, at least I can say I tried. And there we go, see? I got in the first 2 crystals. And I leveled up. Should be level Ba-ba-da-bum, bum, 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 ba-dum. Do 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 doodly doo da 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 da. Oh, diddly neighbor. I love Dead Flanders. Hello there, niddly neighbor. Oh god. Do I have an enemy's aggro? Let's walk this way. So as a tank, I've learned it's very frustrating when a ranged person, like your black mage, which is what I am right now, takes aggro from something by accident and then runs away. It's like, why? Stop fucking run through the group that I currently have. You know, obviously, if there's not an AoE currently going, so that I can just hit it with an AoE and bring it into the group, or at least stay close enough that I can use a shield throw or whatever my class's range attack is to pull it into the group. But when you start fucking running away and I can't fucking target it, and I got 50 enemies, so tab target isn't fucking working, and I'm trying to click on it with your dumbass running is like just not gonna happen. You're going to die to that singular enemy because you can't come towards me or hold the fuck still. It gets so frustrating being a tank, I swear. I've also been learning healing lately. Tank is still by far my favorite role, but healing more stressful. You have so many more chores to do that I feel spoiled whenever I play fucking yes now. It's like every role is important, but that doesn't mean that some roles aren't super fucking easy. And DPS is so much easier. Which is why I like, you know what? I could do a solo stream if I'm yes, because I don't have to focus on almost anything except my rotation. And I'm still failing my rotation. I was wrong. I cannot focus on anything while I stream. But that's besides the point. I appreciate having it easy. Also, everything's been dying before I can hit it, so I haven't got my cast off, so it has been getting that. No. Halfway point. I always remember this dungeon as being like so short, and I get to it, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's like 3 places here. I always try to get as much use out of my Adel as I can. It's the wrong gosh darn button because I'm an idiot. I also have not been talking because I'm an idiot. Always be talking, you know? What else can I talk about? More GameCube. I just love the GameCube so much. I actually really fell in love with the fishing in Twilight Princess way back in the day. I really like the fishing hole in Ocarina of Time too, of course, but it was so cool to me that in Twilight Princess you could go around and do it anywhere. You could catch, like, skullfish in the water temple. So, I was really happy with that, and I was really hoping moving forward every single Zelda game would have fishing. When Breath of the Wild came out, I was like, this would be the perfect game to have fishing. You can catch fish, you can cook fish, big open world. I could spend hours and hours and hours. I'd probably have 1,000 hours in that game fishing in it. It just didn't exist. Then Tears of the Kingdom was coming out, and people were like, oh, I really wish you could pet the dogs in Breath of the Wild. And not nearly as much as pet the dogs, but I did see a few people who were hoping that there would fishing coming back. Tears of the Kingdom. That wasn't in Breath of the Wild either. And they seemed responsive to it. Like, I think he even had an interview where he's like, oh, I didn't realize, you know, humans like to pet dogs. Who would have thunk it? But it seemed he did see the feedback and was receptive to it, so I was really thinking we'd get to pet the dogs in Tears of the Kingdom, and hopefully we'd be able to do some fishing. And my brother was really hoping there would be more underwater content to the game, like in Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess just did so much right. Again, not a perfect game. It is full of flaws, even though it's my favorite game. And you can accept that it has flaws. But, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the fishing and the petting a dog. Then Here's the Kingdom came out, and there was no dog petting, there was no fishing, there was no underwater exploration. And I'm gonna, this is also gonna upset people. That game's a DLC. Here's the Kingdom was a $90, 90 Canadian dollar DLC. To explode, and then I'll stand in that. Have underwater, and it didn't even let you pet the gosh darn dog. They lazily rebuilt it in the same engine. Oh god, I'm gonna die if I keep standing in that. Sorry team, I'm not a tank. I was actually pretty disappointed by mostly Breath of the Wild. I like Tears of the Kingdom more than I like Breath of the Wild, because Tears of the Kingdom is just what Breath of the Wild should have been. Breath of the Wild was just a big, empty expanse of fucking nothing, man. Like, I've been a huge Zelda fan my whole life. The first game I ever played was Majora's Mask. Like, my earliest memories of childhood are of watching my brother play that game and me wanting to turn. My whole life I've just been obsessed with the Zelda series. I have all the graphic novels, I have all the historia and artworks and everything. I have the poster wall. I've been a huge Zelda nerd my whole life. Breath of the Wild was supposed to be such a cool... disappointed me. It's quite sad. And then they come up with Here's the Kingdom, and they're like, yeah, it's gonna be more expensive than every other game, but that's because it's gonna be worth it. And then it was the fucking DLC. That's great. Yeah, we added building mechanics and an empty underground to the empty overworld. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love that. And there's gonna be sky islands with nothing to do on them either. And all the shrines are gonna look the exact same again. We're not gonna add design to the shrines. Isn't this exactly... Oh, and we're gonna name the fucking Divine Beast temples, but they're still gonna be lazy-ass fucking Divine Beast designs. Ruin all the enjoyment. So, what do you guys think? Best game ever? Game of the year? No. Damn it. Stuff ran out. And I do love that Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild to bring so many new fans to the series. Like, my niece is quite young and they love it. They love to just be able to run around in the world and do stuff. And I think that's great. That it's brought a whole new generation to join the Zelda series. And I just wish that Tears... Like, I was going to say Here's the Kingdom was amazing. I was going to say that made Breath of the Wild worth it, because it was building blocks to Tears of the Kingdom. It's the next step to something incredible. And then Tears of the Kingdom was also kind of disappointing. So it breaks my heart where the Zelda series is going, but that's okay. Because that doesn't make the old games no longer exist, right? I can still enjoy them to my heart's content. It was kind of funny when I bought a new GameCube in my adult life when I had a job and stuff, and found the old memory card for the old one, so I could finally play all my old games again. And I looked in Twilight Princess, I had a file with 600 hours. One of my files. In Twilight Princess, and I was like, man, I was absolutely obsessed with this game growing up, huh? Yeah, it's nice that I can still always just go back and enjoy the games I like. That's why I'm kind of worried about, like, you've seen the memes about that new business model they're going for. Oh, I have a message from someone. Sure it wasn't someone who wanted to join the stream. Make sure I let them in. What was I talking about anymore? Oh yeah, the things you've seen lately about, like, players need to get comfortable with not owning their games. It's like, no, I want to own my games because I don't like where games are going these days, so I still go back and play my old games constantly. Like before I started playing Final Fantasy on the channel, the last thing I was playing was Paper Mario. Like Nintendo 64 Paper Mario, an over 20-year-old game. It was like, I want to own my games because I want to be able to go back and play them when I start disliking the way games are going these days. There used to be so much more thought and love put into games. And I think that's one of the things that makes Final Fantasy XIV so great, is that a lot of thought and love and consideration is clearly put into the way this game is made. There's so many small details, little things, just tiny little details that don't matter, but all together add up to be something so great that tells you that the developers really love this game and put a lot of thought and care into it. Little things like when you're fishing and you sit down, you pull out a little stool and all that. So that is my extremely long rant. Just to say I like Twilight Princess. It is my favorite game. Like, I know it's got flaws. I know that the sections tend to drag on. I personally think it's fun to play around as a wolf, but I can totally see the perspective that it's just tedious and annoying to some other people. So it is unfortunate that's a turn-off to people. I've done better and a little streamlined adventure added to the wolf parts than just a dark gloomy. I totally see people's perspective. Still my favorite game though. But yeah, like if people don't like Twilight Princess, I'm not gonna be like, you betrayer of worlds, you tasteless fucking swine, how dare you? No, I'm gonna be like, no, I understand, there's flaws in the game. Doesn't mean I can't enjoy the good parts far more than I dislike the flaws. Oh, so it's still my favorite game in the world. I wish that the spinner had more use too, because the spinner was really fun, and I loved playing around on it as a kid. The fact that 99.9% of the game can't even use it just makes you go super slow. What? But still, see, that's the thing. I can accept my world. It has a good amount of flaws. A lot of bummers. I can see that would turn other people off. That doesn't stop it from to have that perspective. It's like love something and accept that it's not perfect. Also, I don't. Oh, I already mentioned this. I didn't. I was gonna say I don't remember if I mentioned this, but the fact my character is just supposed to be Mario. Sadly, I can't get like overalls, like overalls that go all the way up here. I have the suspenders to try to mimic that. Kind of funny because this outfit is all different pieces. Like everything is from a different set. But it wasn't until I got this shirt when I was just farming and stuff in Eureka when I was like, oh my god, I can make a Mario character. And then I put the rest of it all together. It just made everything click in my brain. wanted to make a Mario Lalafell, because Mario does kind of have like a more small and chibi design in a lot of games. But I was like, I would have to go. Like, as soon as I love this game, I've already said that, and it has flaws. But a huge problem I have with the story is that pretty much all of A Realm Reborn sucks. That's 200 hours of story, and people are like, no, it has an amazing story because after Realm Reborn it's good. And it's like, if 200 hours of the story are shit, that means the story is suffering for it. A lot of the story is shit. It's not good because 200 hours later it gets good. You have to accept that some parts is that 200 whole fucking hours, which most people are not willing to sit through. No one has the time of day for that. Is really painful to get through. Makes it a bad experience. Like, really have to understand that if this game has haters, their opinions are probably extremely valid. It's like, just get a Heaven's Ward. It's good at Heaven's Ward. And it's like, how about they just make the first 200 hours of my experience good so that I want to get? Have you considered that? Like, I absolutely would have quit this game in A Realm Reborn if I didn't make friends in the company. They're really awesome people that are like, you know what? I'm gonna keep playing through this just so that I can keep hanging out with these people, stuff together, and keep running. Kept playing, thanks to them. And then after A Realm Reborn, the story does get really good, and pacing gets better. Actual character progression instead of everyone just being sufferable all the time. Nice. The fact that so many people have to trudge through ARR like they're being punished for starting the game is just such a turn off to so many people, right? My two friends that I started this game with, they've quit. They don't play anymore. One of them did make it through A Realm Reborn. They just had like work stuff get in their way. They couldn't justify to themselves wasting money paying the subscription if they're only gonna get to play like one weekend of the month just because they're so busy. That's fair, I understand that. Another one, just never made it through A Realm Reborn. Reborn sucks ass. They really need to fix it. Streamline so much of it, but I think that's not the problem. I don't think the dungeons being lengthy are what ruins A Realm Reborn. I think the problem is you start this game and the whole community hypes it up saying the story is so amazing and it's so great, and then your first 200 hours of the story are fucking shit. And you're like, what do you guys mean the story is amazing? They're like, because it gets good. And it's like, when does it get good? A Realm Reborn sucks so much. I really think that it needs up. Like, I hear the 1.0 release was the whole Bahamut questline and everything. They completely scrapped that and started over again. And honestly, I think not to that same level of extreme, but a lot of writing needs to be done for A Realm Reborn. It just drags on so much. The characters suck so much. The writing is so boring at so many parts. And it's like, I just want you to shut this, please. Especially stuff like Crystal Tower, right? They made that mandatory to complete the main story quest, but you're going to be stuck in those queues for solid 30 minutes. Like, I was a tank. We'll usually say tank queues are fast, but Crystal Tower, I'd be a half hour for each one of those dungeons, so I skipped the story. I completely skipped the Crystal Tower story because I was like, I've already had to spend an hour and a half of just dungeon wait time to continue the main storyline. So I'm gonna skip the cutscenes. I can't wait any longer. I don't have the fucking time in the day to spend a half hour waiting for a dungeon that's gonna take me another half hour to complete. The hell has time for that? I'm a fucking unemployed bum, and I don't have the time for that. So I'm not gonna sit there spending another 3 fucking hours watching cutscenes. Top of the hour I had to spend waiting for a dungeon and then doing it. I think that is Crystal Tower. actually a huge detriment. Pacing is just so god awful. Like, you start the game and immediately they're like, the Sultana's missing. You're like, okay, I guess that's my job to find her. And it doesn't seem like an important event, and then you're suddenly the fucking hero of the land who's like, you know, got the big dick energy and everyone loves you and fucking everyone trusts you and you're so great. You're the fucking warrior of light. And you're like, what? Why would you start the game with that? And make the quest seem so unimportant when I do it too. Felt like such a little, like, nothing beginning quest, and they're like, no, this is what kicks off your whole journey. This is what makes you the hero. And you're like, what? I put it here. I honestly think we shouldn't have been famous or considered a hero or even like an asset or anything other than a normal adventure until the Ifrit fight. That's what should have been like, okay, this guy's different. That's what should have been the fucking moment. Now they're like, remember that time you fucking found the Sultana and didn't even know who she was, and then she was just like standing 10 feet away from the gate? Yeah? Okay, so we trust you now, and you're our emissary at level 16, and we're gonna send you to all the other continents in our place because you're the best adventurer there's ever been. And it's like, what? Okay, I guess. Like, it's so weird that people defend that so hard, like life depends on it. Because you can see that they kind of learned their lesson from the shit pacing of, because it doesn't appear again in most of the other expansions after that. Like, Shadowbringers is by far my favorite, obviously I won't include spoilers. Absolutely amazing, the pacing is great, the character development is great. The characters introduced are amazing and their personalities are great. So much of it is so fun, the story flows nice, the pacing is good. Kind of like understand how the adventure gears up. Has a good flow to it. And Endwalker is really good too. It has a lot of funny moments mixed in that kind of cut out the serious tones of it. That's great. Heaven's Ward has like interesting conflict, a good introduction to the politics and stuff that help world build and explain stuff to you. Like, so much of this game is well written. Realm Reborn is so shit written. It's like, you can tell that they learned. They moved on, and then people are like, nope, Realm Reborn is still amazing. And it's like, oh, there's like a huge, like a vast chasm. I'm gesturing with my hands, you guys can't see me, but there's a vast chasm of difference in quality between Realm Reborn and the rest of the game. And I think that they close that gap a bit. I think that would keep. Man, this queue time sure is taking a while, huh? There we go, okay. Goodness me. It was entirely, I just have to talk about it again. Sorry team, I'm so tired. All that talking, I have the energy for it. Oh, I cannot walk up that. Okay, that makes sense. Oopsie. Trying to get off of Thundercast by getting close enough to cap. I accidentally targeted the eyeball, but that's okay because it's an AoE and will land anyway. Good work, team. This guy's a gunbreaker, so he should be at Shadowbringers, I believe, is when you can unlock that class. So this dungeon should go pretty fast. Yeah, see, he's dragging the mobs into. damn, was I clicked on the fucking eyeball again? Because I'm an idiot. I know. Sorry, I don't know why I asked. Rhetorical. Yeah, we have like a whole team of a Reaper. I don't know about our oh, they're new. That's okay. I'm more surprised to see the higher levels than a new player. This is much more new friendly dungeon. You. So funny because like I'm so outdated in my gamer speak. I haven't learned new words since 2012, so I don't know what is friendly to say anymore. Like if I'm like, oh hey, are you a noob? I don't know if someone's gonna take offense to being called a noob or not. Well, you know, back in the day, like noob could be used rudely. Generally, it was just like, oh yeah, hey, I'm a noob to the game. It's normal gamer slang. I'm an old ass man. Cool and poppin' fresh. It's okay. That is a directional eyeball, so I don't need to care about it. I'll stand. Ouch. I stepped out like an idiot. I'm the noob. Still begins to dim. Oh, you pulled it out before it even finished dimming. Kinda neat. Haven't seen people do that before. That's actually a good idea. Kinda like when I'm running in or Mog Tomes, which I usually do when I'm on a higher level. My guild and I were running it, and one person was the tank. We took the guy who does like the big floor AoE debuff and pulled him into a corner so it would just be in the corner from everyone. And we're like, oh my god, that's genius. Why the hell did we not think of something so obvious? No, we always do that from now on. I'm not clicking. Enemies I can probably just set up real. Seems that like kind of moving and casting is what charges up my lightning. I have to look into the lower levels that seem to happen. As I said, I'm very new to kind of weird. I'm a fairly new player. I started in November, so I don't know how the game used to be back in the day, but apparently it's entirely different. It's the dungeons, and I think this dungeon, which is just like an unimportant side dungeon now, even though I love running it, used to be very important to the story. Because it gets brought up a lot as if it was something that everyone definitely should have done, and it had like story significance to it. Run it now, it's just a dungeon full of monsters. And then it happens to have Magitech terminals, and you're like, okay, those could have been linked to something, I guess, at some point. Has some story significance, but which is why I find it weird that this would have been cut from the story, even though it was brought up a lot later on. Little Tower in turn was made mandatory instead of being it's nothing. It's like, why? It's like we're all done. Oh no, this one. Oopsie. I think it's my job to stragglers. I am just talking so much. Takes so much mental capacity for me, which I know sounds incredibly stupid. That talking of all things fucking my brain. So I'm just not. Due to the fact that I've just been yapping non-stop, trying to have as few breaks in the conversation as I can, just to keep the stream rolling and entertaining. Charged up. Yeah, I guess I don't quite understand. Figures that. I thought it was when this got to start doing. It seems I was wrong. Ow. Got hit by a rock. Yeah, see, it's only at 2 now and it's doing it. It's interesting. Sometimes it does it on every turn. Got a 40% chance. Okay, so when it's getting every other turn, I'm just super lucky. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I should have read that. Ooh, onward we go. Oh, I like that he pulled the skeletons. That makes me very happy to see. Sorry, I was finishing my cast and I was going to run through to bring it to you. I didn't mean to be an annoying DPS. My AoE cast takes so long, so I hate having to restart it. Some chance of activating. I wonder if I can increase that chance somehow. Area for it. The gambler's materia. Well, yeah. I just want to get my cast off. Love how they ran in just on time to get hit by it. Grab some. But it's so low level, I used to be so diligent about it too, and then I was like, I need material, I'll buy it. Some people in cutscenes, gotta be patient. I'm person instead of the boss. How long has the stream been? 20 minutes. Who the hell was your victim? Say, a lot of games, 50% chance, it feels like a huge lie. It'll be like, here's a 70% chance of succeeding. It's like, that means a 90% chance of failure in most games. And this one is a 40% chance of this working, and it actually seems to happen quite frequently, which is nice. So that chance seems pretty grateful for. It's kind of like the old Pokemon meme. If a move isn't 100% accuracy, it's 50-50. Yeah, see how often that happens? With a percent chance? It's nice. It's delightful. Look at that. Honestly, that feels more like it's a 60 or 70% chance with how often it happens. Perhaps I'm just lucky. Again. And again. This is going great. I think that a really recommendation. And no comms, of course, but just life for DPS. Yes, level 50. Woo! Let's go do our next Black Mage quest. Eastern, Thanalan, Eastern. I want to say Eastern, but I'm so bad at stuff is. Level 51 is just called Always Bet on Black. Oop, that was a loud door slam. There it is, Always Bet on Black. And I guessed right. Guess I remembered correctly. That's right. And onwards we go. the stream was that I label it as the Mog Tome farming, but it was honestly mostly just to level up my Black Mage. Two, 91, not bad. Want this car I'm currently driving during the event right now. I believe the fastest way to get it is to farm 120 regular tomestones, and then you can trade those in for all of the MGP you need to buy the car. You have gathered the first 4 artifacts, Noah. That is no small feat. Yet I fear a little time remains. The tablet of Darzar's great ancestor is to be believed. There is yet one more. Attempting to seal the void gate before I found them all would be the height of folly. Our research for the solace of the gods continues. I have gone through all the records of my great-grandfather, yet have discovered little. The only seemingly relevant passage I found was his last. Put it to paper some 100 years ago, just before bidding farewell to his home. The true power of destruction will be awoken in that most sacred of places. Power of destruction is black magic, of course, but as to what is meant by this awakening, I fear I am at a loss. He was at Darzar's, the Dozal Malak's ancestor. You believe that Darzar's Malak's ancestor might know more? Sure, they were witness to the same events, and it is true, two left the house to go and were damned for trade. Incidents, but no, likely. I fear this foreshadows our doom. I beseech you to at once, so continue search for answers. Say research. Tablet seems to suggest that to the solace of the gods and the one known in time, yet we can scarce afford to wait idly by. Both Dozal Malak and Dazar understand this urgency and have already returned to their respective to delve into the matter. Now to your next task. Let's return to Heat. Found our forces together, the Prophet Uraka. Perhaps it can guide us once more. Oh, oakley. I'll get on to harnessing that power of destruction as soon as I can, don't y'all worry about it. You know, I want to avoid that destruction and such. As long as it helps people. I don't think you understand what we're supposed to do. Oh, I know. We're the dark, scary, evil guys, yeah. But we can still go around helping, right? I suppose so. Alrighty then. Because we have a common interest then. Whatever you say. So there, how are you? Please, you must tell me Kukuraka has disappeared. The man is no messenger of Naldzal. He is a miscreant and a charlatan, and guilty of the most heinous of crimes. Seal your Cheerios, little guy. None had seen him for days. I became worried and entered his chambers to see that he was well, though he prohibited me from doing so. But then I found only evidence of his deception. The records he had written were damning. I now know why he was condemned as the greatest criminal of his day. 100 years past, he conspired with Magi, maybe? From the beast tribe, to summon a creature known as Barbatos Slim. best... What was it again? Limbo champion in the world. Monstrosity that was meant to destroy all of Eorzea. That thought was discovered by the Order of Naldal, and the Void Gate was sealed before Barbatos could emerge. Ukuraku was cast into the Marasaja pit for his crime, where he was to rot until his last breath. The Order was loath to let word of the spread, fearing others might someday seek to succeed. Ukuraku failed. Excuse me. And so, they left no record of the plot, save a few inscrutable documents, parchments intelligible only to those to whom the secret was known. These were the last words I found among the scribblings. 4 is the answer, 4 spells of black, 4 artifacts of Eld, the blood of 4 races, by 4 alone shall the true power of destruction be awoken from the Void Gate. Oh, all the stuff I just did. Noah, black magic is not the key to sealing the Void Gate. It is the key to opening it. Is that not obvious? Ukuraka used us to revive this dark art. Now means to finish what he began a century ago. What fools we were to believe his lies. Please, Noah, you must stop him before it is too late. Create an old reflection in the southern Thanalan. Alright. Hold up. Here you go, little guy. You take care. These toddlers are weird. They don't know how to use magic. That was nice of them. He's will play along with the game. I have like a headcanon that the Warrior of Light doesn't realize that Lollifels are adults and thinks that they're all just toddlers. And like all the fucking crazy shit that they do. You just think it's children playing a game and he goes along with it. Not realizing it's all supposed to be serious. And who wants to topple the government today? You did? Wow! Great job! You destroyed how many lives? Come on now. Alright, let's open a gate into the dark void of evil. These games keep getting so silly. The imagination of a child. Todd. Todd is. I'm so sorry. I was beginning to yell at Todd because he was making trouble. I realized I hadn't muted my mic. I thought I hit the button, but I must have missed it. Sorry about that, guy. So sorry for yelling his name in the mic. Anyway. And so I rode endlessly, tirelessly. The more I uncovered, the more it drew me in. There was such power to be had. It was not merely ambitious. I was also vainglorious. I desired recognition and deference by accomplishing. Actually, now I'm kind of wondering. Yeah, it's messing with my mic. Had me muted for longer than I thought, so when I thought I muted myself, I unmuted what they did. Watch this VOD now. Figure out how long I was silenced because of them. Darn kitties. They really need to not play with the mic. Anyway. I was not merely ambitious, I was also vainglorious. I desired recognition and deference by accomplishing that wouldn't know what they could. I sought to make my legacy an eternal one. Don't care. Gem of Shadow, the power to sense magic, the relics, all of these things I owe to them. With their vast knowledge, the slow crawl of my studies turned to leaps and bounds. I lived happily ever after. There's the answers sought the same recognition as I. As a child, ridiculed by the Amalja for his ingenious analysis of worldly phenomena, Tali Malak named a pariah for not sharing in the small-minded prejudices of the Ixal. Dagu, a victim of his kind's idiocy, bound never to leave the land of the kobolds. There is a snowplow outside, and I don't know if the mic is picking it up or not. But it is quite loud. We toiled together, learning what we could, and learn we did much and more imagining. You know, I don't care. You guys want the story? Go make a black mage and get a level 50. The drilled plan this was, fulfilled his purpose, Kukuroku did. Mother, forgiven Kukuroka, she has. Bach thinks so, Dozzle does. Yes, his soul is free, that's great. Not really paranoid, I have no idea how long I was muted for. So I swear to gosh, golly goodness. Could have been muted for like an hour and I wouldn't know. That's okay, the stream's coming to an end here. Now that I'm level 50, I'll just finish off the quest and be like, yay, I'm done. No. And then I can paranoid rewatch it to see how long I was muted. How cute the furbles are, I love them. These little creatures. Then, before you know, girl in front of a boy. You're a girl? Yes. Yes, I was. Not. Did you not know? That is quite offensive. I'm sorry, you guys. What, we all look the same? No, I wasn't gonna say that. The muscles. I am a warrior. I don't know what your point is. I'm sorry. It's forget I said anything. Anyway, what's going on? Whatever. Together, we have seen the souls of our ancestors given peace, and I too now feel a happiness I have never known. I'm a true black friend. At a friend. Dark art we share be a symbol of our bond, that undying in shadow or light. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-doo-doo-doo. Fantasy games, I can do the sound effects. Do it myself. Yay! Level up! Alright, anyway. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope each and every one of you has a fantastic day. Please make good choices, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care. And everyone who has completed the level 50 Black Mage quest.
Congratulations!
Alright, I'll stop with that. Later, guys. Take care.